Anyway, I got the idea to produce the Easter Rising paintings in the GPO way back, I suppose, the early 80s. I was over in Gettysburg in the States, and I saw some beautiful representational historical paintings of the Battle of Gettysburg and the Gettysburg Address, etc. And when I came back to Ireland, then I decided that maybe I could try something similar, a similar theme, based on the 1916 Rising, Easter week, Dublin, O'Connell Street, the GPO, and so on.
Freedom fighters outside the GPO Dublin, Easter week 1916. The insurrection itself, although it caught the British authorities and the general populace totally unawares, was not the unplanned Dreamers' Rebellion as sometimes portrayed. It was the result of painstaking planning that involved the Irish Republican Brotherhood, the Irish Volunteers, the Irish Citizen Army, Clan de Gael in America, and of course Imperial Germany, which was then at war with Britain. Patrick Pearse reading the Proclamation of Independence outside the GPO Dublin on Monday the 24th of April 1916. This declared the right of the people of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies. The Irish Republic flag is raised by a volunteer on top of the GPO Dublin during Easter week 1916. The flag survived the bombardment and burning of the building and was taken away by British troops after the surrender of the insurgents, each showing the interior of the GPO Dublin during Easter week 1916. The insurgents group was augmented on the first day by small groups which managed to get through before the British Army cordon was in place. By Thursday afternoon of Easter week, the British forces had been greatly strengthened and they succeeded in isolating the GPO from other insurgent positions.
The GPO had, I think, 10 paintings, but at the exhibition at the Oriel, I produced, I think it was 25, so I had an opportunity to expand a bit and come up with some other little themes, little stories, like for example, the planning of the Rising and the aftermath and the streets, O'Connell Street burning and etc. I found it much more interesting the second time round. I remember on one occasion I was walking down O'Connell Street and there was a crowd of people standing outside the GPO and there was a tour guide explaining, obviously bringing them on a tour of the city, and he stopped at the GPO and I stopped to listen to what he had to say, and he was saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to finish the tour here at the GPO." He says, "I want you to all come in now and we'll do the stations." And I was kind of standing at the back and I said, "Well, what does he mean, the stations?" Anyway, we went in, you see, and I stood at the back of the crowd. I wasn't supposed to be there because it was a paying tour, and I crashed the gate, you see. So I went in and the man was talking about, each picture. He brought everybody around and showed them each picture and tried to explain to them what the picture represented and the part of the story of this rising was depicted in that particular painting or whatever. Anyway, halfway through his lecture or his tour, he came over to me and he said, "Could I speak to you for a minute, sir?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "What's the problem?" He says, "I'm sorry, this is a paying tour. You have to pay to look at these pictures, you see." And I said, "Well, I'm actually the artist. I painted them. I think I'm entitled to look at them for free." So he went, "Oh, you're Norman Teelling." And he let it roar. He said it was a Saturday afternoon. And it was very funny because he said, "Ladies and gentlemen," everybody in the place, there's about 400 people, all looked around. And said, "We have the artist here. Come on over and meet him." And it was like a herd of elephants come charging towards me. And they were all, the people were asking me questions and asking me where to pose and take photographs and that kind of thing. It was very funny, but it was a bit of fun, actually.
Michael Collins, as a young man, was involved in the siege of the GPO, Dublin, in 1916. He spearheaded the undercover war against the British. A proponent and signatory of the treaty, he was shot dead in an ambush during the Civil War in 1922. A wounded James Connolly is seen here being comforted by his comrades at the GPO Dublin, Easter week 1916. James Connolly, socialist thinker and Labour activist, founded the Workers' Republic, the first Irish socialist newspaper, in 1898. The burning of the GPO Dublin, Easter week 1916. Heavy hand-to-hand fighting took place around the forecourts and other strategic points. The failure of the insurgents to capture Trinity College or Dublin Castle allowed the British to drive a wedge between posts north and south of the river and bring artillery to bear on the GPO. There followed 5 days of fierce fighting as the GPO was pounded, and eventually the interior was gutted and destroyed by smoke and fire. The siege of the GPO Dublin is ended. Easter week 1916.